Welcome back to week 4. Congratulations. You guys are officially halfway through this program. There are 9 weeks, but the last week is a bonus week that talks about how to travel while following anti-inflammatory eating and a bunch of another amazing tips and tricks to continue to eliminate inflammation from the body. So nice going. And you guys, this is a really crux week for many of us adults. So we're going to talk about cocktails. We're going to talk about alcohol, very similar to how we talk about processed sugar. So alcohol and processed sugar are tied for the number one most inflammatory thing you can put into your body. And many alcohols, right, processed sugar happens to be inside it. Like if you think of a margarita or a daiquiri or anything you put juice in, those are full of processed sugar. And then there's many other alcohols that turn into a sugar more quickly. And I always get the question, is there any alcohol you can have that's better for you? And while there may be some that are slightly better for you than others, the truth is alcohol itself, the very origination of alcohol, right, itself is super, super inflammatory and toxic. And this can be a tricky one for adults, especially because we tend to live a life that's so stressed and we're tired and we just want to get home and unwind and relax. But it's really, really important to do a science experiment and remove the alcohol from your body for 2 weeks. Sorry, my son just walked behind me. He said he's sorry. Okay, so how are we going to do that? We're going to do an experiment with cocktails and trading them out for mocktails. You guys, when we remove alcohol from our body, it's really similar to thinking about when do cravings hit for sugar? Is it an emotional craving? Are we just wanting to relax, right? Or maybe we've created a habit of having a glass of wine every night at dinner or having a beer every day when we get home, right? And so it's addressing that habit, and it's also finding a new habit. So brain research tells us that when you want to trade out a habit, one thing for another, you want to find the habit that you're trading out, find a new habit that gives you the same sort of satisfaction, but in a different way. So kind of a very different example, or if any of you smoke, this is important to know too, right? Because smoking cigarettes is absolutely is a major environmental toxin and something that's important to eliminate. So here's what you want to do. Or here's an example of a piece of research that I once read, that people who were smoking, and they wanted to quit smoking, but the oral fixation of having something in their mouth, that alone gave some sort of satisfaction, right? It was like that habit of having something in their mouth. So instead of putting a cigarette in their mouth, they put a Twizzler in their mouth, not to eat, but to just have that same size round thing in their mouth. And it gave them some sort of stimulus in their mouth that allowed them to move away from smoking with so much more ease. Does that make sense? I hope so. And I think you're going to get the point here in just a second with cocktails. So very often what I have found in my years of helping people remove alcohol from their diet, and when I say that, don't panic. It's not that you never, ever, ever have to have alcohol again, but we're going to do a 2-week science experiment here and see how we feel, and then we'll circle back to see how we want to reevaluate this as a lifestyle. So just so you know, I do drink alcohol, but it's like 3 times a year. One on my birthday, one at Christmas, and usually some sort of other fun surprise day that I may choose to have it. And it's a really high quality organic wine, and it tastes so good. But also, I don't crave it at all anymore. I used to. This took me a while. That's why it's a lifestyle. It took me a while to adopt this way of interacting with alcohol, especially in social settings. But you can do this. You can totally do this, you guys. I've worked with clients who were 23 living in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and like a kind of party skier resort town, and helped them totally eliminate alcohol from their life while still going out and being social and going to bars and dancing and like having fun. So it is possible, and I'm going to give you some tips to make it happen. Number 1, first identify, why are you wanting the alcohol? Again, is it habitual? Are you craving like the taste? Or do you want to relax? Is it about unwinding, relaxing? And 4th, is it a social situation, which is a big one, right? Are you feeling like you should because everyone else is, or you want to because everyone else is? So the next thing, if it is just that you want to relax or unwind, again, find a way to relax or unwind that is healthy for you. Something you don't normally do that feels special, kind of like drinking a glass of wine. You don't drink wine all day long, right? So what's something that feels special? You don't normally do it, but is supportive for your body, whether that's taking a bath, a bubble bath, doing a meditation, journaling, reading a book, going for a walk, sitting in nature, knitting, drawing, doing some sort of paint or photography, right? Whatever it may be, snuggling with your baby, like just take some time for yourself to do that. Don't push it away. Don't make it a second priority. Make sure you do that. Give yourself that comfort. If it's that you're feeling like, no, I want to like unwind, or, that you want, it's habitual. So you're used to having this cocktail in your hand, then pour yourself a mocktail. So if you scroll down to the bottom of this, of your screen, there's a PDF that you can print out with mocktail recipes. If you search on the Facebook group, there's a whole bunch of mocktail recipes there. I like to keep it super simple. I like to put either Harmless Harvest coconut water with some raspberries and mint sprigs, because that feels super special. And it's my grandma's China wine glass, which also feels like super special. I would not normally drink out of this. And I didn't have any Harmless Harvest coconut water with me here. So the other thing I like to do is kombucha. This is the brand I recommend that consistently does not have any processed sugar. A lot of kombucha, they add processed sugar afterwards. And this one's Guava Goddess. It's so yummy, right? So there's something about holding a glass with a stem and drinking out of a wine glass and making it special and fun. So you could do sparkling water with squeezed lime, whatever it may be, but ask for it to be in a cocktail glass. So that's really important if it's habitual or if you're in a social setting. So when I was younger, or would go to a bar, right, or at a restaurant, and ask, and I still do, I'll ask for Perrier, like a nice beautiful bottle of Perrier with a wine glass and a twist of lime. And so I'll have that, and because I love to drink out of wine glasses. But you could also order with go to the bar, order crushed ice with sparkling water and a twist of lime, and no one knows that that's not a vodka tonic. Like, you don't need to make this a thing. It doesn't need to be a dramatic thing. If you're in a social situation, you can totally drink and enjoy mocktails rather than cocktails without anyone else knowing, and enjoy yourself, have fun, and rest assured you're giving yourself health rather than taking it away. Because remember, if you really want to heal, we've got to get the inflammation out. And alcohol and processed sugar are the top 2 inflammatory things you can put into your body. So my challenge to you is to remove processed sugar, to eat clean protein every 3 hours, drink your glass, drink your glass or your gallon of water every day, and remove alcohol from your diet for the next 2 weeks. If you feel panic, just know it's just a science experiment. That's all we're going to do, a science experiment, and see how you feel. Know that there may be some detox that happens. Know that there may be some cravings that happens. And just be prepared. If you are in a social setting and people are like, hey man, or come on, I'll drink a glass of wine if you do, then again, go back to the default of saying, I'm having some health issues, and figuring out that alcohol is actually like causing more pain in my body, or causing an issue with my autoimmune disease, or whatever it may be. And whenever you default to a health condition, to a medical condition, even if it's just like, a skin issue or something that doesn't feel really big, but when you phrase it that way, people have so much respect for you. When we tell them we're doing a diet or a program or something like that, then they're going to really try to convince you to join them. It's the nuances of how we share this information that can make a big difference and just make it easier for you to move through this journey. So you guys, you've got this. You've got this. Last quick story, I had a client who had IBS-C. She'd had it her entire life since she was a teenager. She was about 50 years old now, and had been to every major doctor, university. No one could solve it. And so she had been dealing with IBS-C for a very, very long time, over 30 years. And she told me when we started working together, she said, I'll do anything except for take away my vodka soda and my chocolate. And I was like, okay, that's fine. We're just going to listen to the body, because that's what this is all about. Listen to the body, make connections. Our body is an intelligent vessel, and it will tell you what works for it and what doesn't. What's regenerating the cells in your body and what is degenerating the cells in our body. We're only ever doing one. We're never staying the same. We either regenerate or we degenerate. That is it. Okay, so after I think 3 weeks, her symptoms were completely cleared up. She had given she had given up both inflammatory chocolate as well as all alcohol for 2 weeks, and her response to me was that she just doesn't even crave it. She doesn't want those things. You are going to feel so much better than you ever realize, that looking back, very often you think, it's just not worth it. Okay? I'm going to let you all see for yourself this magical process and how it unfolds.